And she is a f***ing scumbag. And she's getting worse every day. Endless months of just nonstop retard. Candace, if the Republicans lose in the midterms, I believe that Candace Owens is wholly responsible.
Oh, yeah?
She is one of the biggest podcasts on the right doing everything to go to war with the organization that helped get Trump elected. Turning Point specifically was going out and registering people to vote. Without Charlie, it's in trouble. Turning Point needs to be able to go out and rally young people and register them to vote. And she's doing everything she can to destroy that. And that is going to, I suppose, it's going to rip out the coffers on the right. There is no organization like Turning Point that exists anywhere else that has the resources and the reach. And without Charlie, I'm not sure that they can make it. But I can tell you this, Candace lighting a Molotov and throwing it through the window is not helping. And it's the most demoralizing thing ever. Additionally, all of the fucking cowards on the right who are too scared to say anything about her. Because she tweets at me talking shit or whatever, and then a bunch of people come and flood our chat. I could give a single flying fuck. You can come and you can burn everything I have to the ground, and I will happily live in a van down by the river. I don't care to be number one. I don't need to be number one. What I care about is what is true and what will help this country and what works. And she is a fucking scumbag, okay? And she's getting worse every day. And she crossed the line. She continually crosses the line every day, insinuating that Turning Point literally killed the guy who made them all rich. And I hear this in the streets, and at a certain point, I'm like, holy shit, we're gonna lose the midterms. We're gonna lose the midterms, then we're gonna lose in 2028, and it's because she's a piece of shit. Because instead of saying, guys, let's come together and figure out how to work together, she says the stupidest retarded crap. And now everybody's running around divided and broken. For what reason? For literally what reason? Now, guess what? I'm not on the best of terms with Turning Point either. In case you didn't remember, they didn't invite us this year and it's become a big thing or whatever. I have nothing. I can say I know what they are. I know what they do, and I'm glad they do it. And if we don't get along, so be it. I don't know that they make it without Charlie, whatever. But what is the purpose of intentionally fanning the flames for 3 endless months of just nonstop retard shit, Candace? Holy crap. You know, initially in the beginning, she brought up some interesting things. New photos had emerged, and I said, wow, I even said this to Andrew Colvett at Turning Point at the beginning of October. Now she's at the point where it is video after video where she's saying it's an inside job. She's saying, like...
Remember, the thought was that the left purity tests and the right doesn't. The right did purity test. The right purity tested over supporting the candidate, in this case, voting for Trump. Without Trump to hold these people together, as I've said for the past couple of years, right, when Trump is gone, shit is going to come flying apart because everybody's like desperately looking for their new leader. And a lot of people fancy themselves as that. Fuentes is kind of sort of vying for it. Candace has her huge podcast thing on the side. The comedian guys are too much of a loser to take a strong position on anything. It won't be them, I don't think. But Joe Rogan's not running for president. God forbid, don't let me speak that into existence. Holy shit. Yeah, it's not going to be Vance or any of these techno, crypto, finance fucking losers. Marjorie Taylor Greene is off to the side doing her thing. Who knows where that's going to go, but...
There's a video of the dude, Mikey McCoy, grabbing his phone and making a phone call, and she's acting like that's weird. And then you get this other guy who's claiming that the business is a parking lot. Well,
Unironically, Charlie Kirk was a key in holding the different factions together. Well, Charlie was smart, young, and also he had a real organization that was registering voters and getting people out to do stuff. These guys don't want to do any of that. They just sit and fucking do their podcasts all day or whatever. Fuentes, I think, would organize. Yeah.
Full well knows businesses can be registered anywhere. To be fair, it's not only just Candace and saying what she's saying. It is all of these people who are like piranhas ripping the right to shreds. And you know what? A lot of cowards on the right being unwilling to say anything about it. Well, this is where we go. The Democrats are trying to find a way back to reality. They published this thing where they said, oh, we've got to, it's called Deciding to Win. And they said, we have to address kitchen table issues. Like hell, I would ever vote for someone like Elizabeth Warren or Gavin Newsom. But what I think is likely to start occurring now is the grifter right is cannibalizing itself. You are going to see the right now move from a populist base more to a neocon base. Democrats are going to go to war internally over the far left, and you'll see the emergence now of these deciding to win types, which, like Stephen A. Smith, will start agreeing with people like me and Joe Rogan. And they're going to try and win back the ground, and they're going to utilize the absurdity, psycho-reality of Candace Owens to rip people from the right so that Democrats can start winning again. And that is the reality the right has to contend with. Conservatives had a coalition. Charlie helped build it. Disaffected liberals came on board. People like Candace are intentionally burning it to the ground. Stephen A. Smith is coming out. Bill Maher even now coming out more reasonably. The Democrats are going to reemerge. Those that sold their souls for woke and to COVID are going to lose out, and they're going to retire. The AOC types, you're going to see her desperately try to moderate. But we're going to see in these swing districts, they're going to try. Now, that being said, hyperpolarization, as I've already described, may affect New York and Los Angeles and Chicago. So we will see it. Maybe it all just gets ripped apart anyway.
Do you think Candace is a grifter or is genuinely schizo? Candace is a grifter. I've said in the past, I think she might be going like having schizophrenic stuff, but she's definitely a grifter. If you can find that one interview I watched of her talking to that media lady, asking her about her sources, you can tell she's grifting. She's not schizo. People that have delusions will own those delusions. Not like they'll admit their delusions, but they believe them, right? So like here's an example of somebody who might have like schizophrenia or like genuinely feels like they're being gang stalked versus somebody who's like grifting. Okay, somebody says, so you think the U.S. government is hunting you? Yes, I know they are. Really? Do you think you have like proof of that? I can prove every single thing. I have emails. I've got so much stuff. I know for a fact they're all out to get me. I've seen them everywhere. I've got pictures of them. I've seen these people. I know it. Do you have contacts in the CIA? And yes, I've talked to all of them. I know I do. Yes. Yeah, and they've told me all these things, right? This is like a gang stalker, like schizo. She says that. No. If you can find me that interview we watched, here's how I hear her talk. Now, other times when she's alone, she'll be strong. But on that one interview, this lady asked her, because she was like, here's a crazy claim that I make. And the lady was like, you've confirmed with the FBI that this claim is true? And then her response is, I have sources in the FBI. And then he says, wait, but have they told you that things like this are true? They've confirmed stories in the past for me. When these types of answers are coming out, these are strategic answers. She knows that she's full of shit and she's strategically anybody that is strategically navigating a conversation like that is not schizophrenic, they're grifting. Because they know that they have to be careful not to commit themselves to a thing that could get them in trouble that they can't actually prove that they know is bullshit. On her solo stuff, she will be more schizo. Like on her program, she'll just outright lie and say she has contacts in the FBI that are confirming shit. But in that interview with that lady, I don't know, again, if somebody could find the interview. On the interview with the lady, she was way too strategic with her conversation for me to believe that she was genuinely delusional.
Anyway, and you end up with 15 different factions all fighting.
Are her numbers inflated on YouTube? She's hitting 150K easy per stream. I wouldn't trust any live stream numbers. And conservatives bought all their shit. So many people online bought their shit. It's so boring. It's stupid. But Candace, I think Candace was able to capture a lot of people, or does. At least at one point in time, she talked a lot about some hugely exploding pop culture things. She might still do pop culture things, but like she was big on the Diddy stuff when that was happening. There was at least one other case, but like she talks like pop culture stuff, and that's a good way to draw on a lot of, especially women. Just kidding. Well, maybe, I don't know actually. But also on Jubilee with Jasmine, when called out for being a traveling career woman who does controversial things for her job and yet pushing trad wife shit, she dodged until the clock ran out. Oh, sure. Or even when she was on my stream and I was chatting with her and I caught her, I realized that she was lying about her education. She's just very strategic with how she speaks. People who are crazy don't speak strategically like that to avoid culpability, because they don't need to avoid culpability because they genuinely believe what they're saying.
We will see it. Maybe it all just gets ripped apart anyway, and you end up with 15 different factions all fighting for power in the federal government. All I can say is it is frustrating to look at everything that's happening in the world and realize, you know, for a brief moment, my friends, maybe it's a little bit too black-pilled, but I'll say what I'm going to say. It looks like victory a year ago. It wasn't a long, protracted election. It was a snap and done. Trump won. Wow. And then one by one, cracks in this coalition begin to form. For whatever reason, the falling of Daily Wire, the ousting of Jeremy Boring.
For whatever reason, the falling of Daily Wire. Dog, you were a part of attacking the Daily Wire because you threw your hat in with fucking Steven Crowder's stupid attack against them. I like how he just played, but nobody calls these people out. Whatever, idiot.
He's gone. Whatever it is going on with Daily Wire, I have no idea, but for some of these guys, their views have gone down. There's been heavy critiques. There's the Israel and anti-Israel rights now fighting each other. You see these cracks forming. You get the Tucker Carlson, Nick Fuentes dispute, and now Candace Owens is trying to burn down Turning Point. And so what it feels like to me is we're watching the ship sink.
Do you think Candace is doing a good thing in dividing the right? I mean, I guess they're all dividing everything, right?
When you say you believe that Charlie Kirk was betrayed by someone close to him, what do you mean?
I think that in the coming weeks, there's going to be a lot of financial reports that are coming out. And I, first and foremost, do not believe that Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk. I want to be very clear on that. Whether he was involved, I think the answer is yes. I think that's obvious.
And your basis for saying he didn't act alone is what?
I don't know, maybe the weird Fed messages that were concocted out of thin air that had no timestamp and were written like they were speaking in 1822, among other things. Their lack of an ability to answer any basic questions about what took place.
But do you have any proof that the messages were made up? Because that would be easily proven.
Yeah, but they didn't put timestamps on them, and Discord came out and said they didn't exist.
This was supposedly text messages, not Discord messages. It's my understanding from the indictment.
I actually did not read that they were text messages.
The indictment calls them text messages.
What would it be like the feds are like on a computer typing it out back and forth?
That's exactly what it is. The feds made up the text messages.
But you don't have anyone from like the FBI telling you that, or law
I have
enforcement?
leaks.
These types of responses are strategic, in my opinion. I don't think crazy people so do you have any proof from the FBI? I have leaks.
Okay.
No.
Has anyone leaked to you?
And Tyler Robinson
has anyone said to you, even off the record, like, yeah, we faked these?
And then she pushes for more specificity.
I have very strong sources everywhere on both sides.
Those types of answers are too strategic for a schizo. I don't believe it. I think it's a grift.
Well, I look forward to seeing the evidence.
Yeah, sure. Because when we see talking about evidence, it's like, who's going to present that evidence? Like the mainstream media? Like who are you expecting to come out?
Yes, that would be a hot story.
No, it wouldn't be.
It would be.
It wouldn't be.
If the FBI, like if I had...
And she hedges on this never coming out already. Oh, no one's going to report this.
I'd have source telling me, like if I had proof that the FBI faked those messages, that would be an enormous story.
Yeah, I kind of feel like we live in a post-Epstein world and we know how stories get shut down.
Yeah, no, I don't believe it. I think it's all a grift from her. Hassan and Jake Chinatown making veiled threats to Destiny, Asmongold, and Dan Salt.
And Destiny,
That's
and
me.
Asmongold, and Dan Saltman, whose addresses are all readily available in the same exact websites and platforms that they rely on, that their fan bases go to find my address, to harass me. Okay?
Has anybody even harassed him at his address? Also, you literally were reading from my KF thread. I also love all these YouTube commentary losers and fucking Hassan and everybody else is too pussy to mention the fucking website. Just say it. Say fucking Kiwi Farms, you fucking loser. But I like how this guy was literally straight reading posts from my thread on his stream. And now he's like, oh, you guys.
These guys are equal opportunity autists. They're equal opportunity cyber stalkers. You're playing a very fucking dangerous game when you lean into this shit.
He's doing the taking off the Hitler mask to reveal Hitler underneath and being like, now no more Mr. Nice Guy. Like, dog, there's no more chain you can yank on that, you fucking retard. We don't want to be dead. Bungie, PlayStation wrote off Destiny's whole place. Thank God let this game die so I can have my SEO back. No offense to any Destiny players out there. They're making a third one? Shut the fuck up.